Hi, this is our 411 group presentation, and we'll be presenting our case.
I'm Briley.
Hi,
I'm Caroline.
I'm Magdalena.
I'm Prachi.
And I'm Valeria. So for our scenario, our project addresses the March of Dimes brain card, which is an infographic showing weekly fetal brain development. It was originally designed for physicians only to use in patient counseling. The problem arose when the March of Dimes planned to distribute it widely to the public. As soon as it became known, a group of stakeholders voiced a significant concern, halting the mass distribution plan and forcing a reevaluation. Complications. The card caused major complications, most notably intense maternal guilt among mothers who delivered prematurely, who felt their babies were somehow damaged. Stakeholders concerned escalated, warning that mass distribution would become mass mongering, fear mongering. This led to a halted dissemination plans. Our project had to navigate major competing pressures, avoid harming vulnerable mothers, completing the work by September 2027, and stay within a tight budget of 200,000. Our purpose was to increase the accurate spread of brain card information while correcting harmful misinformation. We aim to reduce paternal guilt and mistrust of healthcare providers. Our evidence included direct stakeholders' feedback on scare tactics, presidential concern about isolating mothers, and a design flaw analyzing showing the card lacked necessary public context. This highlighted a serious mission conflict, the tool for infant health for harming maternal mental health.
So the approach to helping fix these problems, we have three approaches. The first one is to revise the brain card for consumers. So our goal is to redesign the brain card to make it more clarity across different literacy levels and whatever the consumers are at that time reading it. We want the language to be supportive and inclusive to anybody, and our goal is 90% comprehension rate. The next one is short educational videos. Our goal is to create videos to help explain the information with empathy. We want these videos to be quick and to the point so that they're engaging to the most amount of people, as well as reducing the chance for misinterpretation. And lastly, we want to have written instructions for physicians. Because this revised brain card will be going to the physicians as well, we want to make sure that they have the proper training to help the patients understand the best way possible and find different frequently asked questions so that the doctors are prepared for when these questions are asked to them, as well as presenting the cards sensitively. So some of our objectives to accomplish this, our first one is to increase understanding. So our target is to have 90% of consumers be able to understand the revised brain card. This will be measured by post surveys with different comprehension assessments, and this timeline will be from June to September of 2027. Our second objective is to decrease maternal guilt. That was one of the major problems that mass dissemination couldn't happen with the original brain card. So because of our revision, we want this to decrease. We want 85% satisfaction from mothers. This will be measured by self-reporting satisfaction surveys. Again, our timeline will be from June to September 2027 with that same 85% satisfaction of lower guilt. Our third objective is stakeholder feedback. So to make sure that our brain card has the best available, like to help the most amount of mothers to understand the brain card, we want to have two stakeholder feedback sessions after we have our pilot dissemination. We will have attendance logs and meeting notes, and this will be from June to July of 2027. And this information will help us to revise the brain card before it goes to the general public. Our next objectives, number 4 is our stakeholder satisfaction. Our target is to have 80% of stakeholders on board with our mission. We will have pre and post project surveys, and our timeline is throughout the entire project. We want to make sure our stakeholders are on board with us from beginning until the end. And number 5, we have physician training. So again, like I said earlier, we want to make sure the doctors know what they're giving to patients and be able to respond with any questions that they have. So we're going to train the doctors and measure this by post-training assessments and quizzes. The timeline is going to be after training sessions. So just to make sure that they understand actually what they were learning, and just make sure that they pass these assessments and demonstrate effective usage. And our last objective is continuous engagement. So we want to have our stakeholders having constant communication at the beginning, end, and as our brain card continues into the population. We will have weekly emails and monthly Zoom meetings just to make sure that communication is open and they can voice any concerns that they have, and we can give concerns that we have to them and just make sure we're all on the same board. Our timeline is from October 26th to September 2027, and we'll make sure that this is successful just by making sure there's constant communication.
So why do we choose each objective? And a good way to understand why we chose each objective is to know how we measure the success for it. So mothers want to feel educated and supported, and that is why we have this, objective and this goal in mind. Physicians want to fully use materials and understand how to use them. And March of Dimes wants to attain education and the revenue goals that we set to attain. And finally, the brain card becomes a representation for sensitive communications. Everyone feels included, understood, and attains this reputation specific for the brain card. So for each objective, right? Objective 1 and 2, we can describe that mothers need understanding without any sort of guilt. For objective 5, the healthcare providers need training and tools to understand what they do. For objective 3, leadership needs distribution metrics, so it's measurable. And for objective 4 and 6, boards need measurable results within a fiscal year. And lastly, for objective 4 and 6, all the stakeholders need a voice in the process, so everyone is heard.
So while working on this project, we definitely came across some different conflicts and challenges, those being technical difficulties, scheduling differences, deadlines, and attendance. For technical difficulties, sometimes we had some phone troubles or computer troubles, which made it hard to communicate efficiently or complete certain tasks. We also had some scheduling differences. So in order to record this presentation, we had to do Zoom to make everybody more easily available. Attendance in class was also a big conflict. Whenever a team member would miss class, it would strongly hinder our ability to work as a group and get things done. And then deadlines, sometimes we struggled to budget our time correctly and get things done in a timely manner. The lessons we learned while working in a group. We learned that equal contribution is very important. When there's not equal contribution, it can make it really hard on some team members to take on more responsibility. So, really dividing up those responsibilities and everybody taking part is very helpful. Individual accountability, whenever you are assigned a task and completing it efficiently, is very important for completing the project. Importance in communication is also extremely important, not only over text and whenever you're out of class, but in class, using communication to get things done most efficiently. Um, Class attendance, again, we learned was very important. Um, Class time provided was important because it matched with the lesson, so getting those done at the same time was really helpful. And then being able to troubleshoot when problems arose. So when those conflicts and challenges did happen, being able to critically think and actually solve them was very important and a great lesson we learned.
So our advice for project managers is that it's important to set common goals with your team. So before starting on any project, everyone needs to fully understand what the end goal is. The second is to specify the duties and roles early. So every group member should know exactly what they are responsible for. So for an example, in our group project, we assigned different people to complete different components, which helped us stay organized and prevented tasks from being duplicated or forgotten. The third is to set clear deadlines. So it's important to communicate about each project component and agree as a group on realistic due dates. So deadlines help us keep the project moving and making sure that no one falls behind. So the fourth is to always communicate with your group members. So clear and frequent communication prevents assumptions and ensures that everyone has the same information. So checking in regularly helps catch problems early and keep the entire team aligned. So our advice for future students is attend class. So showing up is one of the easiest ways to make group work successful. So when everyone is present, we're all on the same page, learning the same material and able to collaborate. So the second is to pay attention to deadlines. So knowing when each component is due helps the group delegate tasks and complete them on schedule. So deadlines keep the project organized and prevent last-minute stress. The third is to not procrastinate. So when work is pushed off until the last minute, it usually ends up rushed or incomplete, and this can cause unnecessary arguments with the group. So starting early makes the entire process smoother. And the last part is to finish parts of the project as you learn them. So it's much easier to complete a section right after it's covered in class because the information is still fresh. So this helps improve the quality of the work and keeps the project from piling up. So that is the end of our presentation. So thank you for listening.